Alright, so today we're going to take a look at finding the equation of a circle. This is very similar to finding the equation of a line. I know a lot of you really want to have x equals a number, y equals a number, whatever equals some number as like your answer. But when we're looking at the equations of graphs like a line, parabola, a circle, that's really not the case. So to motivate this thing, let's take a look at the xy plane. And let's say that we have a point at 4 comma 4, and you want to find the equation of a circle that has that as its center and maybe a radius of 2. So if you were to go up 2, to the right 2, left 2, down 2, and really any direction you can think of 2 units, that's a pretty bad graph, but you get the idea. That's going to be our circle. Well, how do we come up with the equation that's going to give us every single point on that circle? Well, if we know the radius is 2, let's say that this is some random point x comma y. Well, by definition, radius is a distance, so we should plug into our distance formula. X minus 4 squared plus y minus 4 squared. That's supposed to have a distance of 2. Okay, so 2 there. Alright, well, that's x minus x, y minus y. Each of those changes are being squared. That's equal to my radius. Okay, now I'm missing one part here, that's square root, because that's our distance formula. You all should be really familiar with that by this point of the year. Now, let's say you just don't like square roots for some reason or another. If you were to square both sides, then you get this equation right here. Okay, so this actually is telling you any x and y that work in this equation are going to give you every single point on that circle. Now I just picked this center 4, 4, just out of the blue. You could have picked really any center and any radius for that matter. So if we sort of generalize this, say that we have h comma k as our center and radius of r, well, we can write that equation as x minus h squared plus y minus k all squared equals, well, to get rid of that square root symbol on the left side, I had to square both sides. So whatever my radius is, that's going to be r squared on the right. So this right here, I want you to think of, this is basically like our y equals mx plus b for circles. Y equals mx plus b, we were used to using that for lines. Well, now for circles, this is going to be the general equation that we use. So just some things to point out. The h and k, those tell us the coordinates of our center. R is supposed to be the length of our radius. So let's take a look real quick at a couple of the example equations. So here they're asking me to state the center and the radius of this equation. Take a second and maybe give it a guess. Alright, well, hopefully you've guessed the center. Guess maybe the radius. If we go back and look at the pattern of our equation, okay, so it's x minus x coordinate of center squared plus y minus y coordinate of our center squared equals r squared. Well, it follows basically the same pattern. This tells us that 4 has to be the x coordinate of our center, 2 has to be the y coordinate, so that's our center. And I know a lot of you are going, wait, shouldn't it be minus 4 minus 2? No, because this is our equation. It's x minus the x coordinate, y minus the y coordinate. So one thing that students like to do, if it sort of throws you off looking at why is this 4, 2, just basically take the opposite sign. If it's negative, make it positive. That's one way students like to do it. Those are center. They also wanted the radius. You might be really tempted to say it's a 9 or an 81. Well, actually, this is r squared. That's how our equation looks. So you basically want to take the square root of that. So that means your radius is going to be 3. All right, taking the same approach to this bottom one. Okay, so go ahead and guess what you think the center might be. Come up with an x coordinate, then a y coordinate. And then try to guess what that radius might be. Okay, so hopefully the guess for your center was -1 and 0, because if I'm adding a 1, that's really the same as subtracting a -1. Here I'm not subtracting anything, so that's where I put that 0. So my center is going to be -1 comma 0. Radius is going to be square root of that, which is 6. So the nice thing about equations of circles is, as long as you remember that distance formula, you basically already have the equation of a circle. All right, bringing that back up. And as long as you see that pattern, again, it's just like y equals mx plus b. If you know that pattern, you know what m is, you know what b is. Same thing for circles. We're not looking for m and b, we're looking for h, k, and r. Okay, so let's graph a couple. So they want me to graph these three equations. I can tell these are equations of circles because they follow the pattern. X minus a number squared plus y minus a number squared equals something. Same here, same here. If there weren't any squares, then this wouldn't be a quadratic. It wouldn't be an equation of a circle. It'd be linear. All right, so first thing you want to do is identify the center and the radius. I'm just going to say C for center. All right, so that should be 6 comma 3. And radius is going to be the square root of that number, which would be a 2. And I'm going to do this one in purple. So if I go over here and I plot that center point, over 6, up 3. Okay, so that's not really my circle. That's kind of where everything is based off of. If my radius is 2, easiest thing to do is from that center, just go up, down, left, and right. So I'm supposed to go up 2, and then down 2, right 2, and left 2. And just go ahead and make some kind of circular pattern there. Doesn't have to be perfect. The reason why I say that is every single year I get students who just want to connect the dots with straight lines. Well, sorry, that's not a circle, that would be a square. So make sure you just go ahead and find the center, graph 4 points, left, right, up, down, connect them in some kind of circular way. That's going to be your graph. That's all you need to do. Next one here, let's go ahead and point out that center. That's going to be the point -5 comma 0. Radius is square root of 9, which is 3. We'll go ahead and do that one in green. So I'll go back 5, and I'm not going to move up or down because the y coordinate of my center is 0, so I'll just plot my center there. From here I need to go up 1, 2, 3, right 1, 2, 3, and then left 1, 2, 3, and down. Once again, go ahead and make some kind of circular motion. I know it's not perfect, but you get the idea. There's that circle. Last one. Let's go ahead and point out that center. So that should be the opposite. So -2 comma -1 in parentheses because it's a point in the xy plane. Radius is going to be the square root of 25, which is a 5. So I'll do that one here in red. So I need to go back 2, down 1, plot my center, and then go up 5, and then right 5, down 5, and left 5. It's a big circle there. All right, you get the idea. I'm going to stop here and then post another video with some more advanced examples.